Well, hello everyone, and welcome to my studio and my brand new chat show, In Conversation With. I'm so excited. I'm really excited. So thank you for joining us. We've got some brilliant guests coming along the way today. We've got the fabulous actor, IAN PIRIE, and I want you to get involved as well. So if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, say hello, send us your questions in. We've got a few questions that have already come in, but I will be going in depth with IAN to get lots of information from him, so you can learn lots of things about the business and about him and his personal life, everything like that. It'd be absolutely amazing. So here I am in a lockdown in my studio. Well, it's not just me. I've got Brenda from Broccoli. She's my PA. She's been my PA for about 3 years now, but she didn't manage to get back in lockdown, so she's been locked down with me. Just hope her cats are okay. Anyway, oh, Brenda, thanks so much. Here we are. Oh, thank you very much. Ah, my lovely single malt whiskey, my Talisker, one of my favourites. I'll have that at the end of the show. You can go, Brenda. You can go. She really needs to do something about her arms. Anyway, on with the show that we're talking about. So please welcome to the studio the fabulous, the brilliant, the incomparable Mr. IAN PIRIE. IAN!
Hello
there. How are you?
How you doing? I'm all right, mate. I'm all right.
I'm really good. I'm really good. Now, before... Go on, say.
I was loving the funky music in the background before I came out.
Very good.
It's
well,
really
thank
cool.
you very much.
And I must say that Brenda has got amazingly large hands.
She has got large hands, hasn't she? But, you know, let's not be funny about hands, IAN. You know, she's got good hands and hairy hands. So welcome, studio. I've got a little bit of trivia to start off with. Now, this is worth £1 million. So Marilyn Monroe, it's her birthday today. How old would she have been? You've got one guess for £1 million. No Googling.
91.
You just lost £1 million. So for £1 and a bag of crisps, try again.
Was it close?
You were very close.
89.
94. 94. Can you believe it? And we talk about Marilyn all the time. I think she's behind you, isn't she, in your brilliant picture?
She is actually behind me. If you can see that. I've just phone up there. I can actually move it up a little bit so you can see her with John Wayne, and it's a famous.
There's lots
of a famous painting, yeah.
Well, we'll have to put your head.
So you've got John Wayne, James Dean, him from Gone with the Wind, what's his name? Humphrey Bogart, and Madeline.
Fabulous. Well, I want to say thanks very much for coming on today, but also I was looking at your Twitter and your Instagram feed today, and you're doing a new project called Isaac and the Ram, or is it a short film? Is it part of something?
It's a short film. It's a short film. It's quite an important. It's part of a quite important subject. It's 20 short films were made about Britain now and the lifestyle, and it's all about homelessness, LGBT, just like a cross section of stories and people in Britain, mental health, all that sort of thing. And there was 20 films made. There was a budget of 200k, and it's all sort of like new and up and coming directors and first time writers. And it is going to be, it's on demand from today. You can get it on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, BFI Player, Curzon Home Cinema. So you can watch it now. You can watch all 20 films. So
well, I shall definitely have a look at that later. Now, also, Little Birds told me that you've been working on a top secret project with none other than Ridley Scott, and the person said I'm not really allowed to ask about it, but they said you may be able to furnish us with a few more little secrets.
No, yeah. Well, yes, I did. I worked with Ridley Scott, who is now 83. So of course Ridley did films like Gladiator and I'm trying to think, like all the Alien movies. I mean, he's a legend. So I was very excited to be working with him, along with you may have heard of them, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Adam Driver, and Jodie Comer from Killing Eve. So
just small names then.
Small names, yeah. Massive Hollywood movie, written by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, so it's the first project that they've written since Good Will Hunting.
Brilliant.
And I was very fortunate enough to do a scene with Matt, well, a couple of scenes with Matt, and 2 or 3 lovely sort of dialogue scenes with Jodie Cromer. And it's called The Last Duel.
What do you play in this?
I play the stable hand to a very wealthy lord in France.
Okay, I think you might be saying too much. You may be,
No, that's all I'll say.
That's all you'll say. All right.
But you're allowed to talk about. I love working with them. They were all absolutely lovely. Matt Damon's a hero of mine, so I had about a half an hour chat with him. They all say he's a lovely man. He's the nicest man I've ever met. He's beautiful. He really is.
That's lovely. Well, I mean, I often have a chat with Matt on the phone. He's a great guy, as you say, a very dear friend. But I know you're not allowed to say more.
I'm thinking Brenda may actually be Matt.
I'm saying nothing. We're saying nothing more about Brenda. Leave her out of this. Now, you are allowed to talk about your other Hollywood movies. You work with some other big directors, Martin Scorsese. I mean, how old is he now? He's amazing. He's
very old. I mean, it was one of the first films I ever did. I did Gangs of New York, and it was the first movie I ever did, which was shot in Cinquenta Studios in Spain, where they did all the cowboy westerns with Clint Eastwood, A Few Dollars More, and Good, Bad, and the Ugly. It's a fantastic studio. I did that, and I was very fortunate to be working with him and Leonardo DiCaprio and Daniel Day-Lewis and a host of other stars. I didn't do very much in it, but I worked in the film for 5 weeks, and it was to say you've met and shaken Martin Scorsese's hand and had a little bit of direction from him. It's wonderful.
That's absolutely amazing. Well, we've got a few people online, Ian. Lena asks, can you repeat the name of those films, please? I think she's talking about maybe the ones that are on Netflix, Isaac and the Ram, and what it's part of.
Okay. Yeah. Isaac and the Ram. Sorry, I keep getting messages. And the Ram is part of something called The Uncertain Kingdom. First-time filmmakers and very, very important subjects. Some of the films are animated. Some of the films are quite dark. There's a few humorous ones. It's got actors like Mark Adey, who's from Game of Thrones. He's in one of the shorts. Hi, Helen.
Lots of people saying hello.
Yeah. So that's on. Well, we've got it in Amazon Prime, so you can watch it on Amazon Prime if you have that. And it's on pay-per-view sites such as Apple TV, BFI Player, Frozen Home Cinema, Google iPlayer. Will that be right?
That's like literally
I think it is. Yeah,
tons of them now, isn't there? I want to go. When I was looking at your CV, I'm a complete James Bond freak, so I want to come up to James Bond because it's there on your CV. So I want to know things like, how did you audition? How did you get the job? Where did you film it? Did you meet Pierce Brosnan? What was it like? Did you meet a Bond girl? Tell us all. Tell us everything in 1 minute.
Well, it was very, very early on in my career, and my agent at the time called me and said, I've got an audition for you. It's for James Bond. And I was like, no. She went, yeah. You've got to do a South African accent. And it was the night before. It was just the night before. How's your South African accent? No idea. I'm all right with accents. I mean, most Scots people tend to pick up accents quite quickly because the way that we've got every syllable and every sort of in our vocabulary with the R's and this and that and the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I auditioned for it. I did a self-tape. No, not a self-tape. I went in audition for it. And about 2 days later, she called and said, you got the gig, which was very, very, very big. So I had to do 2 weeks filming in Pinewood Studios. Then I flew out to Cadiz in Spain for 3 weeks shooting on location with Pierce Brosnan. Oh my God, what's her name? She won the Oscar from
Judy.
Beautiful.
Dame Judy?
That's it. That's it. God, I can't remember her name now.
Halle Berry.
No, it was Dame Judy. No, she's a stunning. Halle Berry, yeah, Halle Berry.
I just said, yeah, Halle Berry.
So I met her and Pierce. Yeah, So I was there. There's a very iconic scene in the film where she comes out in the water in a swimsuit, like Ursula Andress did in the famous Doctor Who movies. And I was there for all that, which was fantastic, obviously. But I did 3 scenes with Pierce Brosnan. I had a wee fight with him. One of the scenes, I did have a Bond girl sprawled across my bed when he sort of knocked on my door and asking I had to come in, and he basically punched me in the ground, and had a wee sort of famous Bond line with the Bond girl, and it was all fantastic. He was lovely. It was just a kind of highlight of my career. Everybody wants to be in a Bond movie, you know.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And Judi Dench, did you meet her on there? There's you've worked with her. How many times? It's one of those trivia things, isn't it?
I've worked with Dame Judi. Yeah, I worked with Dame Judi 3 times. I first met her on Bond. I then worked with her at the Royal Shakespeare Company when I was doing a play called Merry Wives of Windsor. And then I eventually met her for the 3rd time when I was doing a musical with Les Mis. It was a transfer. There was a transfer from the Palace Theatre to I think it was the Queen's Theatre. And while we were performing the show at the Queen's Theatre, one of her dreams to be in Les Mis. So while she was performing next door in the theatre next door, when she had a break, she had quite a long break of about 45 minutes apparently. She nipped next door at the Queen's Theatre. She dressed up as the Smelter Woman for the big barricade scene in Les Mis, and she was on stage acting a little heart out in Les Mis musical, which was fantastic. So
that must have been amazing for everybody. That must have been amazing for everybody else on stage. But as if she needed something else to add to her CV. I mean, you know.
I know, and she loves the music. The Merry Wives of Windsor actually was a musical that I did at the RSC. It wasn't the play of it, so it was a musical with Simon Callow, Scarlett Strallen, and Dame Judi. So Dame Judi got to sing as well. So
this brings on to Mel's question. I know Mel; she's from Fairing. Hi, Mel. Who's the most famous actor or actress you've ever worked with? Who would you say?
The most famous. Well, I suppose it's just been Matt Damon for me anyway. He's probably Leonardo DiCaprio, probably him as well. So they're kind of probably the 2 most famous actors that I've had the pleasure of meeting and speaking to and working with.
Okay. I want to take you now. I want people to understand the difference. You know, when I'm teaching, I talk about it, but the difference between theatre and film, not only technique, but, you know, generally when you're in a theatre production, you might have 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes even 4 weeks to rehearse, to get to know everybody, to get to know the technical crew, and you become a really big family and you get really close. And by the time you go on stage, you're really ready for it. And then when you work on a film, you may get the script, and you may just, you know, get in a car at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to a set where you know 5% of the people. You might not have even, you know, met most of them. How do you go about that? You know, how does that feel as an actor? Is it quite scary? Is it, you know?
It is scary. I mean, as regards to theatre and film, I always say it's very important for any actor to really get to know their craft and understand their craft. And I think doing theatre first before you do any telly really helps with that. Because as you say, when you're rehearsing for 4 weeks and you get to improvise things and, you know, try lines and try playing scenes in different ways, that helps tremendously when you go into a film set and you only have, as you say, you've met people for 5 minutes. If you've learnt your lines when you go in and you understand your character and you've done all that background work for a film or TV, all the stuff you did years previous to that in theatre really comes into play when it comes to film, because as you say, you haven't got time to rehearse. You haven't got time to do any of that. So you're almost acting on hoof. You're almost improvising, making things up as you go along in TV and film. And the only reason you have the confidence to do that is because you've done all that before in theatre. If you didn't do that before in theatre, you'd kind of be a bit lost, I would say. You know.
Absolutely.
Of course, there is a difference in theatre. You're performing to say 2,000 people, and you've got your dress circle, and you've got your upper circle, and you've got your stalls, and you have to play everything bigger. Perhaps use your arms a bit more, your hands a bit more, and project and use your voice. Project your voice, but in TV and film, you really only have the camera. You have a close up to with your face like this, and you just need to move your eyes. Everything that you internalize when you're going through your lines and you're understanding your character should all come out here, and it can't be too big. You know, that's the difference, I would say.
Well, that's really good advice. And as
you
Johnny Reese
said, still.
Yeah, absolutely. Johnny Reese asks, Ian, do you prefer working in theatre or film, and why?
That's a very good question. I've not done theatre for quite some time now, although I did a little bit of it last year in Dublin. But I miss the adulation and the clap from the audience at the end, and I miss 2 hours of telling a story, and you do it every night and it's different. I do miss that. But on the other hand, I love TV and film because I love the whole technical side of things. I love how close you can get, how intimate you can get with someone on screen. It's just like having a conversation, like I'm having a conversation with Mitch just now. And the camera, I'm pretending it's Mitch. You know, he's that close. And I love that intimacy that you can get from film.
Well, this is what Lena's asked.
They affect people.
Sorry, go on. I was just saying with Lena, she's asking, she guesses on film you need to be more precise for continuity purposes. As in remembering, I suppose, every time you do a take.
Yeah, I mean, you've kind of got to remember if you're saying a line and you lifted your cup up at some point and you drank from it, you've got to remember when you did that and whether you use your right hand or your left hand. And sometimes if you do takes 3 or 4 or 5 times or 10 times or whatever, depending on the director, sometimes you forget, and you've got a continuity person there coming with a big notepad who every scene she takes every single movement that you do or how you say a line, she writes it all down. And then she'll come back to you and say, actually, in the first take, you lifted your glass with your left hand and you said this. So can you repeat that again? So
there are big differences.
More precise.
Big differences. I remember particularly in films, I'm mad about continuity, because if somebody goes in with an umbrella or a handbag or something, I always have to make sure in my head that they're leaving with it. And I always say they didn't have that handbag, they've left their umbrella, you know. So I totally understand that. But I'll move on a little bit, Ian, because I know you're a rush for time as well. I just wanted to go on to theatre and musicals, because you sort of had your first break, didn't you? Tell us about your first break. It was in London, wasn't it, when you were first noticed, you know, in Jesus Christ Superstar?
Jesus Christ Superstar is quite a special show for me because that was my first ever West End show. I had done one previous show before that. I as a theatre director, quite a famous theatre director called Bill Kenwright, who gave me my first professional job in a musical called Robin of Sherwood, which we did at the Liverpool Playhouse. And it was written by 10cc, and it was Robin Hood, and we all, for some reason, were on surfboards. It was ridiculous, but it was a lot of fun. So I did that for about 4 weeks. That was my first ever experience of professional theatre. But the second job I ever did was, and my big break really was getting cast in the 1997 production of Jesus Christ Superstar at the Lyceum Theatre, where the Lion King is now. And I did get a lucky break, actually, because there's a casting director called David Grinrod. I went in and sang for him and the director, and the song I chose was completely wrong. And he took me to one side and he said, never ever sing that song again. And he asked me to sing Judas is Heaven on Their Minds in front of the director, because she was about to blow me out. And I sang it, and there and then she says, you've got the gig. which was, you know, I mean, if he hadn't stuck up for me and said, look, he's got a great voice, please listen to his voice. I was trying to do some sort of acting song, which just didn't work, and that was my inexperience in naivety. But I got my break in that show. It was critically so well received. It's still considered to be one of the greatest versions of the show.
I have to.
There.
I have to interject here because I actually came to see that show and I'd never met you. I mean, I didn't meet you till years and years later, and I found the program up in my room and I thought, oh, Jesus Christ. And then I looked and I saw your name in it and I was like, oh my God, Ian was in this.
Really?
But I remember going to see the production and it was so loud. It was like a rock concert. It was absolutely superb. And you felt it going through your entire body. It was an incredible production. I'm just going to shift on a bit. I've got a couple of questions for you here. And Ben, which is something I was going to ask later, which is, this is an interesting one for actors out there. Can you see it there, Ian? Is Ben says, hi, Ian, wondering where you trained?
Yeah, well, Ben, hi, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. I never trained at all. I never went to drama school. I did, like where most of us start, I did amateur productions. I was part of a drama group in Aberdeen, just an amateur production called the Limelight Theatre Group. And I did various musicals and plays with them. And finally built up the courage to do an open edition for Jesus Christ Superstar. I did 2 open editions before that for Les Mis, and I think the Blues Brothers was the other one. But yeah, I had no formal training, and I started later in my career. I started when I was 29, so I'd had a little bit of life experience before that. I was a welder, and I met lots and lots of different people, and I had a life experience. I had a small child when I came to London. He was 9 months old. So I wasn't like, you know, wet behind the ears. You know, I was a kind of grown adult. And I think doing amateur dramatics is a great grounding for anybody. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to train. I think training is a very, very important thing for some people. I fortunately didn't have the money to pay for drama school. I couldn't afford it. My mum and dad couldn't afford it, so I never went down that route. So I went a different direction.
I have to say as well, Lena's made a great point. It's amazing and encouraging for all those who don't manage to get into drama school, and also those who can't afford to go to drama school because it's so expensive. You know, so it takes a lot of people out, doesn't it? So that training you get when you're young, and if it's free or quite inexpensive, it's really important to, you know, grab with the horns as you can. And you've made such a success of yourself without the training, and it's about you inside, isn't it? And about you inside, I want to take you to your past. I want to regress you to your past. Go back, Ian, go back. Can you tell us? Can you tell us about your upbringing? Because I think this really helps, doesn't it? It forms us as people and actors and creatives. Where you came from, what your parents were like. Was there anyone parent? You know, were they in the business? Were they not?
No, they're as far removed as being in the business as they can be. My mum was a cleaner for the National Health Service, and then she also, funnily enough, did what was a cleaner in the nightclub at night. She had about 3 jobs. My dad was a blacksmith for the council. I came from a council estate, quite a rough council estate up in Aberdeen, and it was the best time of my life growing up in this council estate. I had lots and lots of friends. I'm still friends with some of those kids now. So one of my best friends lived next door to me, and we're still very best friends. So I grew up there, but I think when I grew up, kids had imagination, and we were out all day playing and playing cowboys and Indians and playing lots and lots of different types of games and thinking outside. And I think that creativity as a kid I've always had a big imagination. And I actually play. I mean, I did something else before I took up acting. I played badminton for Scotland, so that was I got my buzz from that. But when I found out that I wasn't going to be good enough, you know, to continue to be a professional anyway, that's when I kind of drifted into. I was working a nightclub one night as a bouncer, and someone says, "How do you fancy come to see our theatre show?" I don't know, right then. And I went to see this theatre show and loved it. I think it was The Music Man. I thought I could do that. I don't know why. I used to sing a little bit in front of my parents at New Year. But yeah, I got into this theatre company because they were screaming out for boys, and found out I could sing and got the hook, got the buzz, got hooked straight away, and found out I was quite good at it, you know. But I think coming from where I came from, as a child, we just made up games all day, you know. And I kind of think that's really. I'm still a child now, whether I'm playing a cowboy in a film, or playing a soldier, or playing a detective, or it's just using imagination. Apart from I'm a grown up and not a child.
Yeah, I have to say as well, I think your roles are really diverse when you play them. That's what I noticed about your CV. Anything from, comedy to, it's quite big from musical theatre to plays. And, a lot of people get stereotyped, don't you? If they're in musical theatre, they're sort of a lovey and they work in musical theatre all the time and they find it very difficult to progress and break out to straight plays. I mean, you've done things like Blackwatch, where you're incredibly strong and powerful, and comedies and different things. Yeah. You've managed not to get stereotyped. I know a lot of the time you play, hard men or something, but you've done such a diverse array of things. Do you think that is because maybe you don't have that feeling of being trained? There's something about, you've got more unnatural fear about you.
I think that's a lot to do with it. I've never put myself in any sort of box. I'm this, I'm that, and I'm this. And I think to survive in this business, you have to be a jack of all trades, if you can be. Yeah. And I always loved musicals, but I didn't necessarily get in this business because I'm a big film buff. All I did growing up was watch films, And but the only way I could really get into it in 1996 was because I had a decent singing voice. So that was my way in. But because of my look, I don't necessarily come across. I mean, my old agent used to say he's very, very real. He's just like the guy next door. I never came across as no one ever thinks I'm an actor when they meet me. They think I'm a builder or whatever. So I've always maybe had a normality about myself that I think is quite castable. But I kind of think you're right. I think because I haven't been trained and someone says you need to do this, you need to do that. This business there's no rules. I've always thought there's no rules. Yeah. Try something. If you want to go for something, do it. Don't let anybody tell you any different, And that was the same with my agent. She thought exactly the same. She says, right, I'm going to try and get you into straight theatre, musicals, film. Let's do as much as you can, voiceovers, everything, and it's fortunately been good for me.
No, that's brilliant. Thanks for that, and that's really inspiring. I've got 6 questions lined up from. I picked some from some people who had emailed in earlier. So if you're all right to do a quick fire question round here. So we've got Emily from Ferring. She says, or she asks, what was it that attracted you to become an actor?
I think it was. I briefly mentioned it before. I used to sing at New Year, and they would ask me to sing a song or do something, and it was the showing off and getting a clap for it. I think every performer likes showing off and getting the buzz of someone saying "well done." And no other job. You can be a policeman, you can be a nurse. No one turns around at the end of the day and says, "Brilliant, you were fantastic today." No. Only in theatre do they do that, or a football player or whatever. But entertainment, people turn around and say thank you, if you've done a good job. So I think that's what's got me into that.
Cool, brilliant. And we've got Jessica from Kansas City. Can you believe it? She says, have you ever frozen on stage? As he freezes there.
Yeah, a couple of occasions, yeah.
Hold on, you've got a Les Mis story. I know you've got a Les Mis story because you told me about this years ago when you sang the wrong words or did something.
Yeah, what is the song where he sings 24601, whatever that's called?
Who am I?
I
Who am I?
literally, I've done it twice actually. I forgot the whole number, and the only bit I ever sung of this, I went walking about the stage. The guy was trying to bring me in, and I was like, I've lost. I have no idea where I am in the song, and I just finished off at 24601. So that was that. And then another occasion, I actually I understudied Thénardier and forgot the lyrics, so I sang some of it in mock French. I went, oh, je donne de quoi? Literally did that in the West End Theatre. Probably got a warning and almost a sack for it, but anyway.
I think that's a disgrace, IAN PIRIE, disgrace. Okay, Marlon from Southampton says, have you ever stolen anything from a set or stage as a keepsake?
Well, I don't know if I can reveal that, but yes and no. No, I haven't, apart from once, stolen anything. I've always asked if I could, after the end of the show, could I have, I had a crown once. I've got a crown here. Once I did, once on a film set, there were sunglasses, a very nice pair of sunglasses that it was part of my costume that I forgot to give back to the prop man, and I think I've still got them. But I'm not going to tell you what job it was from. But yeah, most of the time you can get a pair of shoes or something if you ask very, very nicely, and they'll give you it.
Right, before you get yourself into any more trouble, then I'm going to ask you the next question. It's Julian in West Chiltington asks, where is your favourite studio to work in and why?
Favourite studio to work in?
Yeah.
That's a really good question. A film studio would probably be Elstree. I love Elstree. And there's a very old film studio, and I forgot the name of it now, but it's where they did and I think it's maybe Elstree, but it's where they did all the old 1940s and 50s movies.
Shepperton?
And I think it is Elstree. Yeah, no, it's smaller than that. And it's in West London, and I don't even know if it's there now. But every time I would go there, they would have pictures of the Lady Killers and all these black and white films. It just felt very, very cool to be kind of standing in the same studio as Alec Guinness had been, you know.
Yeah, no, that's nice. Oh, right, and here's Babette. Oh, I think she may be an injury lawyer. Maybe. Have you ever been injured on set? Can we contact you after this?
Yeah, I've not really, touch wood, ever been injured on set. I've never fallen off a horse or anything like that. But I have been bruised on a number of occasions. I do all my own fight scenes, sword fighting and stuff, and there's always someone trained there too. In fact, I have been injured. I'm lying to myself. I did a film where I had to, and it wasn't actually on set. It was in Pinewood Studios, and they have 150-foot diving tank. And I was training. I had to do my diving certificate for a film that I was doing called Pressure, and I had to walk down to the bottom of the diving tank. They shut all the lights off, and I had to swim 100 meters underwater without any swimming apparatus, and then get to the other side, take a breath, and swim back again. But I'm not very good at equalising, so I burst my eardrums basically doing that. So I would never do that again. I hate diving.
There's Dom
no win,
here.
no fee.
No win, no fee. Thanks for that, Dom. Thanks for that, Dom. Right, okay, thanks, Ian. I'm going to bring you on to the present now. So behind every successful man, there's always a brilliant woman pulling the strings and moving things forward. Is there such a lady as that in your life? And can you tell us about her and your family? Think long and hard.
I don't really know. There is. Yeah, there is. My darling wife, Victoria Donovan, Vixie to most people. is a professional actress, and she is my eyes and my ears, and she's probably a better actor than I am, really. And she takes me through all my self-tapes, and she's very, very, not overly critical, but she'll tell me when I've not done something right as regards to a self-tape or whatever. She's very, very honest, but she's also looked after me since we've been married now for 9 years, I think, and we've been going out a lot longer than that. And she's my backbone, you know. She's the reason that I've become successful, I think. So yeah, she'd be my.
She's kept you on the straight and narrow.
She's kept on the straight and narrow, yes.
Straight and narrow, mate.
Daughter who straight and narrow, mate. And my son, I have a son who's a dancer, actually. His name's Daniel. He's here floating around the kitchen just now. And he, ever since he was in his high chair, has always wanted to dance, and he's a professional dancer. And he's just been brought back. He was on a cruise ship in Australia, and due to the lockdown and the coronavirus, he was brought home. But he's done lots and lots of West End shows. He did Carousel very recently, a couple of years back, actually, in the West End. So he's got his father's genes. So we're kind of like a theatrical family, with Victoria being an actress, Daniel being a dancer, and I have a daughter who has got her own nail bar in Henley, Hannah Victoria Nails, it's called.
Lovely.
So she's quite creative as well. So if you ever want your nails done and you live in the Berkshire area, anybody, come and see my daughter.
Come and see his daughter, and she may have some gossip for you as well. I'm talking about Vix and helping you out. She obviously helps you with these self-tapes, your agent and everything. I just have a few questions here. So there's from Melina says, did you find getting an agent without having been to drama school, or how did you rather get an agent without having been to drama school? I mean, did they see you in anything? And maybe talk about that transition between getting your smaller agent into who represents you now, a larger agent.
Okay. Having not been to drama school was obviously very difficult to get an agent, and someone I knew from who used to live in Aberdeen was with my first agent, and although he couldn't get me to see her, and again, this is when it comes to, you have to kind of think things your own way, do things your own way in this business. So I got her address of this agent, and I stood outside her door in Golden Square in London, waited for her office door to open, and there's about 10 offices there. Ran upstairs to the very top floor where her office was, walked in and went, "Hi, my name's Ian Pirie. I've heard a lot of bad things about agents and good things about agents, but I'd like you to take me on, please." And she went, "Who are you?" I went, "I'm Ian Pirie." And I told her that I'd done a couple of open editions, and that this casting director called David Grinard had seen me once before auditioning for Poppa and Starlight Express. I was completely the wrong colour. I didn't know that Poppa was black, but he said I had a good voice, and if ever I needed him to put in a good word for me, that to use his name. So when I went into this agent's office, I said, "David Grinrod likes me. Can you give him a call?" And she spoke to him, and he went, "Yeah, I would take a chance with him." And 25 years later, here I am. And I was with her for quite a long time. I was with her for 20 years almost, Jessica. She was the only agent I ever had until 5 years ago. The agent I'm with now is United, quite a big London agency, one of sort of the biggest in Britain. They've got Tom Hardy and Kate Winslet and lots of stars, and they kind of asked whether I'd done a couple of films that they enjoyed, and they asked whether I would consider representation from them. And the hardest thing I ever did was leave my old agent, who'd worked tremendously hard for me, but I wanted to see what it was like being with one of the bigger, I suppose, like playing for Brighton and Hove Albion, and then Man United comes chapping at your door saying, "Would you like to play for us?" It's an offer I couldn't refuse, so so I got them.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's obviously worked well for you, but from
Yeah.
that, I've noticed as well you've done lots and lots of independent films. Now we've got watching, I think probably Lena and Freddie. Freddie's an independent filmmaker, and he does brilliant films, and he does them with his mum Lena as well. They're really into it, and he obviously wants to be. He is a filmmaker, so. So I want to know how many independent films you've done and why you do them, because I think a lot of people would be worried about, approaching somebody as established as you to ask to ask you to do their independent film, because obviously they're not paid as much, are they? And you might, you may not get put up in a glitzy glam hotel. You might end up in a tent somewhere. But can you explain why you support the independents so much and why they're important?
Well, sometimes you do things for different reasons. Some independent movies, depending on the budget. I mean, an independent movie or a low budget movie can be anything from £1 million to £250. So I think even a low budget movie can be under 2 million, to be honest. So there's different types of independent movies and different budgets. But I think one of the reasons I do it is you never know who all. I mean, you can't know who all the new up and coming exceptional writers and directors are. You can't keep in touch with them all. So I normally get about 15 offers for short films a year. And generally, the ones that write me a letter saying, I love your work and this, and they've taken the time to see my work. If it's a good script, no matter whether it's £50 a day or £100 a day, if I think it's a good script and I like the director, and it's only 3 or 4 days out of my time or a week's work or whatever, I will do it, and I think it's very important to keep new blood. I mean, I was nobody when I got into it, and someone took a chance on me. So I think you have to, if you spot talent in some writing or some talent in some director, you have to try and help them. And if I can be part of a small budget or a short film that leads them to kind of go on to the next ladder of the career, that only helps me as well, for that Uncertain Kingdom thing, and that's a prime example. But I've also done films that another reason to do independent films is because sometimes, especially nowadays, with all these media platforms like Netflix and Amazon, there's so much scope to get your independent movie. It's quite easy nowadays to get independent movies in front of everybody's television screen, in front of everybody in the world can watch Netflix. So you can do an independent film here in London or in Scotland or in Isle of Man, and if you can get it on a platform like Netflix. I did a film of it. It's one of the most watched movies on Netflix called Caliber. That actually was made for about £1 million, and we did it, and it won Best Film at the Edinburgh Film Festival. If you ever get a chance, anybody who's watching, watch it. Stephen King saw it on Netflix and tweeted that it was the best film he'd watched all year. Now, that film would never have ever, a few years ago, got to be watched in America so quickly. But nowadays, you can do an independent movie, and if it's good, and it's good quality, it doesn't matter what the budget is, people of influence can see it. So that's why I do them.
Absolutely. I think try everything. I think Caliber was an incredible film. I watched it after you said, I think I got it on Virgin first and watched it on there, but now it's on Netflix, isn't it? It was absolutely brilliant. So thanks for that. In that same vein, I did. Sorry, go on.
And some of them are not so successful as you think they might be. I had another one with a very, very famous British critic called Terence Davies, who is the loveliest man. He's in his 80s now, but he's made 6 films in his life, and none of them make any money. But they're all. He's won 17 awards at Cannes. He's won. I mean, he's just a fantastic person to work for. And I did one of the books I read at school was Sunset Songs, a very, very famous Scottish book, and it was made into a film. And I played one of the lead parts in it, Chase Track and this socialist. I loved the story at school, and I really wanted to do the film because I got it at school, and it was the chance to work with this director that may not be around too long anymore. And it was one of the best experiences in of my life. But no one really saw it, you know, because it never got distributed properly, and one of these, and it wasn't a commercial film as well. So I did it, and I knew I kind of knew not too many people would watch it because it wasn't a commercial story. Yeah. But I did it because I wanted to work with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's it, isn't it? You don't always do jobs for money or for, for exposure.
No.
With that in mind, I obviously run the youth theatre, the Sussex Youth Theatre, Surrey and Fleet as well. And last year we did our first ever film project, and just to show them how different it was to work on film. It was literally one cameraman, a boom operator, myself. They'd written all the scripts and everything. And we had just the best time. But it can be, invigorating working on a film, and it can be really boring, can't it? Because you're sitting around for lots and lots of time. So you have to keep yourself focused. So I'm just going to play, if you don't mind, just a little 30-second snip of, it's like their little promotional video for the youth theatre of their little films they did. There were 10 of the groups there. So I'll do that, and then we'll come back and we'll have some more fun for 10. Yeah, so just 30 seconds. Into about 30 seconds or so, but they had such fun and it was really good. Lots of hours waiting up, like doing everything though. Are you okay? Have you muted yourself? He's trying to unmute. He's muting. I'll unmute you, Ian. There you are. You're there. Leave it. You're good. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can all hear you. Can you hear me?
I have no sound.
What? No sound here? No, you've turned it off, I think. You're on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Nothing. Pull your plugs out.
Yeah, no.
Pull the plug out. Pull this out. I'll just tell it. Hello? We've done something now. What I'll do is I'll take him. Hello. I'll take him out of the stream. Then I'll put him back in. Can you hear?
Yes.
We should be able to hear because we've got some great things going. You can.
Hold on.
This is live.
Speak now?
Yes.
Yes. Got you.
Are you okay? Are you there?
Technology.
You're back. You're back. You just had to leave it. It would have probably come back anyway. Yeah. Right. We've really grilled.
Hello.
Hi, Mr. Perry. Right. We've really grilled you. It's been absolutely brilliant. And now we're going to have a bit of fun. Are you up for that? Yes, you're up for a thing. Okay. So I want to know, everybody else wants to know out there, is party tricks. Do you have one? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you have one? I don't know.
I can't really think. I've got one that a small child showed me. It's called Man in a Box. So basically, I don't know if you can hear this, but basically, if I hold my lips together like this. That's about it, really. That's my little party trick. I don't know whether that came across, but I think it's very funny.
That's really brilliant. I think people would have to. I think everybody in the party would have to be really quiet to hear it. But that is brilliant.
Yeah,
I love that. Right, for every in conversation I do, I'm going to do a competition, and this competition is called Under the Skin. Okay, and it's 15 quick fire questions, no waffling. So who will be the season winner? So I say no waffling because I know I'm a waffler, and anyone in the sort of entertainment business tend to be wafflers. So you've got to try and be concise with your answers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call Brenda in, and she's going to do the stopwatch. Go and ask the question. Do you need a question?
Yeah, the question is, are they all relevant to film and TV, the answers?
Well, you're not allowed to know that. You're not allowed to know that until the time, okay?
Okay.
Until it comes. They're
Yeah,
secret.
right.
Oh, just get Brenda. Brenda! Brenda! Brenda!
Brenda!
Oh, hi, Brenda. Can you just put the stopwatch on for this? The stopwatch, Brenda. Get the stopwatch out. Right, okay, gonna press start, okay, when I say go. Do you understand? I don't think she's eaten for a couple of days. Anyway, right, okay, so now, IAN PIRIE, are you ready?
Yes,
Ready.
I am.
Your time starts. Brenda, ready? Now, what's your fondest memory?
Getting married.
Brilliant. What's the favourite job you had when you weren't performing?
Victoria.
Obviously, yeah. Your favourite job you had when you weren't performing?
I used to sell pretty poly tights to supermarkets.
Pretty polytouch, right? Okay, I'm wasting your time. And what's your favourite meal?
A Scottish dish called mince and tatties.
Mince and tatties, eh? With peas? Yes. All right. Favourite place for holiday?
Oh, it's got to be Scotland. Up to say Loch Ness.
Oh, lovely. And what's the worst meal someone could give you?
Easy. Rice pudding.
Oh, lovely rice
I hate
pudding.
rice pudding.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. What's your favourite drink?
It's like sick. Favourite drink? Well, I've got two alcoholics gin, and I love cold milk.
Cold milk. Right, good. Any tattoos?
No.
Your biggest fear?
Losing my voice.
Oh, what's your favourite song?
Piano Man, Billy Joel.
Oh, what a song. What a man. Favourite film?
Godfather.
Wow. And what age did you leave home?
22.
What car do you drive?
I drive a 1972 Volkswagen Camper, bay window T2, and I drive a Transporter, Volkswagen Transporter.
Okay, you wasted time then because you have two cars. A favourite city? Your favourite city?
Los Angeles.
Oh, nice. Your favourite author?
John Grisham.
And your best quality?
Loyalty.
Loyalty. Nice. Stop the clock. What? You didn't time it. I asked you to press start. She didn't time it, Ian. Right. Okay. I'll go back on the film anyway, and I'll work out your timing. Yeah, all right. Thanks, Brenda. Thank you. You can go.
Oh, Brenda.
Nowadays,
Come
anyway.
on, Brenda.
Right. And my final thing to you
her.
here, which is something I really love, is dinner guests. Right. So, Mr. Pirrie, you have 4 dinner guests you can invite. They can be living, they can be not living, or they could be fictional. So can you tell us who they would be and why?
Well, it was just 4 dinner guests. Well, if there were actor dinner guests, you see, I would have Burt Lancaster, Frank Sinatra, Gene Hackman, and Al Pacino. But if it wasn't 4 actors, I would have my mum, who passed away a long time ago. I would have my dad, because I would like him to see her again. I would have my dear wife Vicky, because she never met my mum, and my mum would have loved her. And I'd have my 2 kids, so that's 5 people. But that's who I would have on the dinner table.
So I guess I'm not on your invite list then. That's okay. You don't need to answer that question.
No, because you would just Skype. You would just Skype me. You're my Skype friend. That's it.
I'm your Skype, or I could be your butler. I wouldn't mind being your butler for the evening. That would be good. Okay.
I think you have been my butler.
I think I have at some stage in the past. Right, I've just got a couple more questions for you, and then I will leave you. That's been nearly an hour. Thanks everyone for joining in and also watching this on, rewind, repeat, whatever it's called. So a couple of questions. So if you could give one piece of actors just starting out, what would it be?
Learn your lines and prepare them so well that you can say them backwards. It'll stand you in good stead for your career. Just learn your lines. I mean, for auditions especially, just learn, be professional and learn it when you go to audition.
Brilliant, good advice. Be prepared. Also, for actors that have been in the business for years as well, and don't feel that they may have had their break and they're still struggling on, whatever. What would you say to them?
Well, as I say, I didn't start till I was 29, so I don't think there's any time frame for success. I think success and passion comes and happens at any age. So never ever give up on your dream, ever.
Brilliant.
You must never give up on your dream.
Okay, and my very final question to you, Ian, is what are your sort of ambitions and hopes for the future? What do you want for the future?
Just to keep working, really, to earn a little bit more money, but that's not the most important thing. But to keep working, and also to do a little bit more writing. I've had a couple of projects. I've already written one thing, but I've got a couple of ideas about other things, and I just need to finish them. I'd like to get them done, and perhaps once in my career, make a film of a script that I've written and get it produced. I would love to do that.
Can I have a role in this film? Just a small one, just a little something.
Yeah, you'll probably be my butler.
Butler, fabulous. I'd love to be a butler. I'm a very good butler, and I'm called Jenkins, so you can call me Jenkins. You don't even need to change my name.
Oh my God! Oh, that's
all butlers are Jenkins.
Jenkins, come here.
Jenkins from
not whiskey, gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic, boy. Ian, thank you so much. You've given up an hour of your time exactly. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and offering us so much information. And I will hopefully you'll come back and speak to us if you've got a project going on. It doesn't have to be for an hour, but just for a little snippet or something.
Well, as you know, I love speaking about myself. So I mean, I could have went on for another 2 hours, to be honest.
Well, we'll put it in the masterclass. We'll put it down as a masterclass somewhere. So. Thanks, old bean. Have a lovely, lovely evening. I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Cheers. Well, that's it. So we haven't quite finished yet. Well, we have, but thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching now live or whether you're watching, that was my very first In Conversation With, and I hope you really enjoyed it. So all Ian's, how you can contact him or follow him are in the credits, which I'm about to play. But I've had a really, really, really lovely time. And I think now I'm going to have my single malt Talisker whiskey. And as the Scots would say, Slanjiva.